measurements, it's a great idea to add in potassium on dietary source. To me, that's like first line, right? If you're acidotic and you got some crazy, and sometimes you'll see that that will improve enough because now you start uptaking what potassium you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I am naturopath Fiona Chin, and I am joined again today by the amazing Jessianna Saville. Jessianna is the principal of Kidney Nutritional Institute in the US there, which is a group of renal dietitians, mindset coaches, and more that really specializing in digging into how to improve dietary interventions in improving kidney function and reducing chronic kidney disease. Jess is an amazing wealth of knowledge. She speaks to many doctors and nephrologists around the country over there. And she's just amazing. She's been on our channel so many times, and there's a reason for that. That's because Jess is an expert at what she does. So Jess, thank you again for joining me. I'm always grateful to have you on board and for you to share your knowledge with us. And
when I look at patients clinically, number one, like I'm just looking through the I'm like, oh, they don't really have enough potassium. Pretty typical. Most people don't. If our labs are okay on potassium, and they're struggling with their blood pressure, or they're on like a whole bunch of blood pressure meds, it's a great idea to add in potassium on dietary source, or even try doing some supplemental potassium. Potassium citrate can work really good because it's not only alkalinizing with a citrate, and potassium is an alkalizing mineral, but it also boosts all of that up to bring down the blood pressure. So that can be almost like, to me, that's like first line, right? If you're acidotic and you got some crazy blood pressure, if you don't have any potassium risk, let's start with just add some potassium in. And if you find that doesn't really budge anything, then you can add in a little bit of magnesium, where you start with a little bit of magnesium, magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate. And sometimes you'll see that that will improve enough because now you start uptaking what potassium you have in. But I would say almost most of the time you're going to have to use both. And if you're using very, very high amounts of potassium, I was telling you, I had one patient who he drinks like 2 quarts of coconut water a day. So he takes in like, I just looked at his log today. With that and supplements, he's probably taking like 8,500 milligrams of potassium. And one of my clinicians like, I think he's probably magnesium deficient if he needs that much to bring down his blood pressure. Sure, she's right? And so if you're seeing you need a lot of potassium to make a difference, you probably need a little bit of magnesium as well. So I mean, it's simple. They're both inexpensive supplements. Run them past your clinician, of course. But try those 2 simple minerals before you add on excessive amounts of blood pressure meds. Because they have benefits on alkalinization and blood pressure.
Yeah. And if you haven't watched, Jess and I have done 2 or 3 previous podcasts about the importance of potassium. And just to quickly, as a high-level overcap, the studies do show that the ATAGI guidelines actually changed around potassium and kidney disease a couple of years ago anyway. Number one. Number two, we know that if you take potassium out and you go on low potassium diets when it's not indicated by bloods, and now we know the bloods may actually, in some people, be indicating a potassium deficiency and a magnesium deficiency, you actually accelerate the risk of end-stage renal disease by taking it out. So a lot of these low potassium guidelines that some renal dietitians and nephrologists are pushing are actually accelerating the course of the disease. So you really need to make sure you're working with someone that understands that this is now quite old information. The science has really picked up. And number 2, as you mentioned, Jess, like if you have to use really high levels of potassium, make sure you're pairing it with magnesium. But both the cases of your patients where they added it in, their blood pressure where nothing else worked went normal, right?
Yeah, it improved it dramatically, right? That's like after doing everything else. So I just keep thinking about that. I was like, wow, I wonder how many patients I've even missed that on, where I'm like, we did everything and like you try and cut back on the sodium, and I have people that are like, I eat any more than 500 milligrams of sodium, my blood pressure goes up. I was like, that just can't be right. And if you have to stay so low on sodium to control your blood pressure, you're probably missing the other 2 friends, right? A little bit of potassium, a little bit of magnesium.
Yeah, they all work together. If you want to know more about what Jess and her team do, I'll put the link in below. You can find them at kni.org. Yeah, that's right. Kidney Nutritional.
KidneyNutritionInstitute.org.
Yeah. I always shorten it on you. They've got an amazing team of renal dietitians. They work with anyone in the US and also all over the world because of the amazing invention of things like Zoom. So I'll put Jess's details in there if you want to work with a really qualified practitioner who I highly trust that is educated in the nuances of things like this and the new science. If you want to know more about what we do, you can head to www.kidneycoach.com. You'll find us on Instagram and on Facebook with the same sort of thing. And make sure you hit subscribe and like it. That way you'll get notified anytime we put up new videos. And if there's anything you want Jess and I to talk about, put it in the comments below and we'll make sure to do a video about it next time. Thanks for being part of our community. And Jess, thanks for your time, your knowledge, and your expertise.
Thank you, Fiona.
No worries. Bye.